Welcome to Tekedia Daily. I'm Ndubuisi, Ekekwe. Our conversation today will focus on using the experience of Etisalat Nigeria, which was yesterday basically picked up by a consortium of banks because of more than $1.2 billion debt it is owing these banks. We are going to focus on the construct that having the best customer service is actually what a startup needs in order to leverage growth and scale in the market. I would like to say this. It's very critical that you have the spirit of delivering the best customer service. Of course, being the best in what you do is very important. But that is not necessarily going to be the only thing that will matter at the end. Etisalat is a premium brand. It has perhaps the best customer experience in Nigeria. But unfortunately, Etisalat, in the process of delivering the best customer service, the best customer care, got itself into a market segment where the total population of the people it can serve cannot be expanded. It has the highest in terms of cost broadband service in the country. It has the phone, mobile, every aspect of his business is just very expensive. So, and it turns out that best service, getting all these customers happy, did not save his company because he could not pay his loan. And that was the reason why the banks had to pick it up. So it teaches us something, that the whole element of quality is an illusion. What matters is value, not necessarily for the customer, but also for the institution or the company that is delivering the service. You see someone who wants to spend all his money to get the best letterhead so that he has the best possible quality letterhead in the business. Sure, you can do that. But the question is this: what value will that create for you in your business? There is a Mercedes-Benz in the market, and there is also a Toyota. All of us are not driving Mercedes. At the end of the day, you look to a whole composition of cost and value that you are getting from this particular engagement or acquisition. And at the end of the day, customers are saying, if I have to pay nearly double for a gigabyte of browsing using Etisalat when I can get a very poor service from Glow, I think it could be a better deal. Let me go for Glow. But there are people that are ready to pay for that. But you need to ask yourself this question: do you have enough people to service that particular market segment? So the issue of balance becomes very critical. Customer service is not the only thing that will save you. There are other things which are critical in any business. And it has to do with your ability to manage and encapsulate all the different components to see the balance you need to create in serving your customers. You may give them the best possible customer experience, but if you are doing that without increasing the total revenue capacity of that firm or bringing more customers into that business, you may be in a very, very terrible position. There's a company in America called Comcast. It has one of the most terrible customer service experiences you can imagine. And Comcast will tell you he's trying to see how he can solve this. But at the end of the day, Comcast remains one of the largest institutions in the industry because it turns out, hey, it has the worst customer service. But does it really need to have the best customer service in order to deliver voice telephony and internet service in people's home? Yeah, it's a question of saying, okay, how do I have the best and the fastest internet service to somebody's house? And how can I have something fairly decent enough to most people's homes when I know that not many people will be interested in buying the most and the fastest internet service? You may not like the service, but many people do. And at the end of the day, it's a trade-off. Sure, iPhone is a better phone to many phones we have in Nigeria. But how many people can afford to buy an iPhone? You take your yearly salary to go and buy a phone when there are other phones that you can buy that can actually do largely most of the things that iPhone can do. And that is the way it is. You want to build a product that will be the best possible in Nigeria, in Kenya, and has the highest quality, but very few people can afford it. At the end of the day, you may have the highest quality, but you have not necessarily given yourself an opportunity for success. So it's very important for us to understand that what matters is the value. The value that you are creating for your own farm and also the value that you are creating for your customer. You have to come to a conclusion. How do you manage the conflicting scenarios? The customer gets the best experience, but the customer is not necessarily paying you enough to compensate for the cost or the value that you are creating in order to deliver that experience. And that is it. You're paying it, it's costing you so much money to deliver that experience. And if these customers cannot help you generate revenue fast, there is problem. And if you cannot do that, you have to now start planning how you can modulate. It doesn't mean that suddenly that service has to drop. It doesn't mean that suddenly, of course, that you don't have to serve your customers. But there has to be a time when you begin to ask this question. Having the fastest broadband internet access in a city where you know people are not necessarily ready to pay for it, and you cannot expand the total population of people that can take your service. You may be moving so faster that the market is actually available. And you have a customer service center where when people call, it takes them less than a minute to speak with somebody. Whereas your competitor may say, okay, let them spend 5 minutes before they speak with somebody. If the total revenue you are bringing cannot compensate for reducing that 5 minutes to 1 minute, it may actually be a very big concern. And that is why it's so important that we are not fixated on this whole construct that service is king. Service is king, but you need to look at the addressable market. Can customers pay for it? Can your clients pay for it? When they are not paying for it, and when you cannot expand based on the cost of that product, based on the quality level that you have invested, putting the cost of that service, it may be a time for you to change strategy. There is nothing wrong in not being the highest quality service firm in the industry. You don't have to be the best in service delivery to be the best company in your firm, in your sector. What you need to be a category king company is to have a mechanism to basically align, compensate, prioritize, and concatenate all the different variables to give customers something at a price model and at a service level that they can basically accept and pay, and at the same time give you that fiduciary responsibility that you owe to your stakeholders and investors that you can make money doing that. If you take all the money you have the best customer experience for the customers, and they are not paying for it, you have failed in your mission as a company. And I want you to get that. You need to serve. And I'm not necessarily saying that more investment translates to better customer service, but we are under this assumption that you may need to spend more money to deliver better customer service. And we know that the Etisalat invested extensively in that. But many Nigerians were not necessarily interested in that because the services that Etisalat was delivered at the end priced them out of their normal paycheck. You are listening to Tekedia Daily. Thank you.